Hello survivors and welcome to Survivor's Guild, part of the Mutant Fam Horror Consortium, a community of like-minded individuals working together to create content and build relationships by and for fans of the drive-in. Today, we're taking a look at 2011's Wrong Turn 4, Bloody Beginnings. Aren't all our beginnings pretty bloody? But before we do that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future installments of this franchise, or others. Now, I hope you like snowmobiling trips with your friends in which you get lost on your way to your friend's cabin, but he's dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then you all end up at an abandoned sanatorium where some inbreeding cannibals are holed up, and they end up killing your friends and eventually you, cause this movie's getting spoiled. Wrong Turn 4, Bloody Beginnings. Written and directed by Declan O'Brien, starring Jennifer Padavic, Tanika Davis, Caitlin Leave, Tara Vanessa, Ali Tatarin, Samantha Kendrick, Victor Zink Jr., Dean Armstrong, and Sean Skeen. Wrong Turn 4 is a prequel to the first Wrong Turn that was released in 2003 and revolves around a group of friends on a snowmobiling trip that goes wrong turn when the group gets lost on their way to their friend's cabin. Okay, fine. Snowmobiles can make wrong turns, I get it. I'll allow it. We open up to Glenville Sanatorium, West Virginia, 1974, where Dr. Ryan is showing Dr. Anne Marie McQuaid around. We get introduced to Charlie, the guard in charge of the door into Ward C, which is high security and each patient is a danger to himself or others. But Dr. Anne McQuaid isn't concerned about proximity or the yellow lines on the floor and stands way too close to one of the cells and one of the patients grabs her hair.
Are you okay?
That just surprised me, that's all.
Luckily, she was not hurt, just surprised is all, and they continued their trek through the facility. But unfortunately, Dr. McQuaid forgot something, and now that dude who grabbed her hair has a souvenir to remember her by. Dr. Ryan introduces her to the Hilliker brothers, but don't worry, that's not their real last name, that's the last name of the lady that found them. Dr. McQuaid gets jump surprised by adolescent One-Eye, and Dr. Ryan shoots her the "you might not be prepared for this job" look. It wrong turns out that these little dudes ate their parents' pics or it didn't happen, and that they are smart and dangerous.
And the little bastards are smart. Definitely the most dangerous patients in the hospital.
We then learn that Three Finger bit off and probably ate his other two fingers, and One Eye poked out his own eye and ate it. I get dangerous, that makes sense, but smart? Where are you pulling that out of, Dr. Ryan? Apparently, these little boogers can't feel pain either.
They can't feel pain. They have an advanced form of congenital analgesia.
Because like I said back in the Wrong Turn 1 episode, incest equals superheroes. So get on that, people! And the doctors head off to check out the rest of the hospital. And that one patient starts using the hairpin to pick the lock on his cell. Hey, stop that! That's not what hairpins are for! But he can't quite get his own lock, so he slides it over to the Killbillies so that they can take a stab at it. I want to tell them to stop, but I just don't want to stop them when they're playing so nice together. The Killbillies are able to free themselves from their cell, and all that ruckus draws Charlie, who is just 2 weeks away from retirement, into the ward. But when he enters the door, the three Kill Charlies pounce and kill him the only way they know how, by biting him a whole bunch, and then stabbing him with his own keys, adding Charlie as option number 1 on our menu, and deposit number 1 into our meat bank. You live by the key, you die by the key. And the three Kill Charlies leave the ward, but luckily they don't let any of the other patients out of their cells before they go. But after they go, well, that's another story, causing all sorts of hell to break out in this sanatorium. Not a whole lot of explicit death, but a whole bunch of hell. They hook Dr. McQuaid to a shock treatment machine and shock her repeatedly, upping the voltage until she finally ends up in our meat bank at deposit number 2. Now, because I know for a fact that this situation would lead to more than just a handful of deaths, I'm counting these two dead-looking bodies as meat bank deposits 3 and 4. Sue me. We then see who the next victim will be when the patient runs into Dr. Ryan's office. Flash over to the very hallway that Charlie died in, and will probably haunt forever as he searches for his lost nose. And Dr. Ryan is all tied up in a whole bunch of razor wire, which the adolescent Killbillies have set up in an elaborate pulley system. More like a pulley apart system, because the second they hit that button that opens the cells, that's exactly what it's going to do to Dr. Ryan, splitting him into number 5 in our meat bank deposits. Flash forward, but not too far forward, to Western University, West Virginia 2003, where we're introduced to two couples and a whole bunch of boobs, alerting us to the quality that this movie will have to offer. We meet Jenna and Vincent, who just so happen to be going at it in the same room as Sarah and Bridget, which is weird but also convenient, because then Kenya only has to barge into one awkward moment instead of two, letting them know that we've got a boatload of other characters that we're going to be introduced to. Cut over to a bunch of snowmobiles and Kyle and Claire, and then Daniel and Lauren. Unfortunately, the ample amounts of snow gear and shallow writing make it difficult to differentiate between the characters. But don't worry, I put in the effort to figure out all these characters' names for you. So anyway, this group of non-playable characters head out on their Wrong Turn movie while the snow and this sign play a fun prank on these people. And after these guys mess around for the duration of the credits, they come to the realization that they might very well be lost. And with the light and temperature dropping, they need to find some shelter, and fast. NPC Kyle has them head off in probably the wrong turn direction. Daniel lets us know the alternate title to this movie, Wrong Turn 4.
He's making a wrong turn, I know it.
Flash forward a little bit later and the group is completely lost and the storm is blowing in. They see a building a little ways in front of them and so they head towards it. They make their way to the long abandoned Glenville Sanatorium and decide to stay there for the night. The guys go looking for something to burn while Kenya lets us know that we're in a horror movie.
My freaking cell service sucks. Does anyone have a signal?
Kyle apologizes for getting them lost and for looking like everyone else in this goddamn movie, but made it up to them by creating fire. NPC Vincent thinks they should stay and do some exploring, while NPC Daniel is concerned about breaking the law. Wait, you were trespassing the second you walked in, and then you started burning their stuff. The other NPCs just laugh at how embarrassing that loser is, and then the guys go exploring. And at the last minute, NPCs Kenya, Jenna, and Lauren decide to join them. They see evidence that someone has been there recently, but like good NPCs, they brush it off as nothing. They find Dr. Ryan's office and do some snooping through some old records they find in his office. Certainly not HIPAA compliant. And then NPC Daniel lets us know the difference between a sanatorium and a sanitarium.
Is that where crazy people are locked up?
No, it's a sanitarium. A sanatorium's a hospital that isolates sick people from the rest of the population.
The NPCs then decide to get back to the rest of the group. We then see our Killbillies making their way into the sanatorium. And hey, they've got Porter! Oh, but he's just the sixth deposit in our meat bank. We cut back over to the NPCs, who aren't quite done laughing at the physically deformed.
It's kind of cute when you're stoned. You know, in like an ET kind of way.
When a few leave to go find rooms and beds for the night, NPC Vincent plays a fun prank on the girls to foreshadow his imminent doom.
Asshole!
Kenya gets pissed at him, and as penance, Vince heads out to find the generator to get the lights working, which he finds and gets running. And now that the group has lights, they decide to go have a fun party, complete with gurneys, wheelchairs, dancing, and two-way mirrors. They wheelchair their way into an auditorium and find some old movies to watch on the projector. Unfortunately for them, these are horror movies depicting the treatment of the patients, and it's quite shocking. Pun intended.
I wonder what happened to them.
You know?
Almost as shocking as who the hell is that? Who the hell that is starts telling them the backstory of the Killbillies and how incest works.
So there was a bunch of inbred West Virginia hillbillies that got rounded up way back when. They were deformed because they kept on screwing each other.
Ew!
Lucky for us, Daniel says her name.
Lauren?
Now I know!
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe! Flash forward to later that evening. NPC Vincent heads out to explore because he can't sleep. While walking down a hallway, he sees someone at the end of it. And that someone turns out to be Porter.
Porter! Is that you? Porter, when'd you get here? Holy shit, you scared the hell out of me, man.
And Vincent discovers he's dead when he knocks the body out of the chair. And when Vincent turns around to run, he runs right into Sawtooth, who has a big old skewer for him. Vince kebabbing him into our meat bank at number 7. The next morning, while Jenna wonders where Vince is, Claire wonders where the weed went, and Kyle wonders where his shirt be. They head to the lobby to get ready for breakfast when Daniel realizes that all their stuff is missing. Well, Daniel, that's because the Killbillies are also kleptomaniacs. They love that old 3-finger discount. But Kyle thinks it's just another one of Vincent's pranks and tells him not to worry about it. They split up into 2 groups to search for Vincent and plan to meet back up in the auditorium. Daniel, Sarah, Bridget, and Lauren will check the upper floors, and Kenya, Kyle, Jenna, and Claire will check the first floor and the basement. NPC Alpha Team 2 finds a room in the basement with some weapons that will come in handy later, while the other NPC team finds Porter's blood, which will never come in handy.
It's blood.
Jenna sneaks into the kitchen and sees Sawtooth hauling around and then butchering Porter. So she sneaks back out and back to the group in the auditorium. When Daniel and his crew show up, they tell them about the blood they found, and now everyone is a little shook up. And Jenna only shakes them up worse when she runs in yelling about how someone is going to kill them all. But no time for that. Heads up! The group recognizes the jacket as Porter's because he never went anywhere without it, or something, and Kenya walks over to investigate. And what do you know? He still won't stop going anywhere without it. This sends the group right into a panic and sends Claire back into a razor wire noose, which is attached to this here pulley system made up of 3 Killbillies on the balcony. Kyle, who always dreamt about being in a Slayer music video, stands under her to get the full experience. But when the floor gets slippery, Kyle gets lazy, and then the group gets going to try to get out of the room. But when Claire's neck can't carry the weight, her head comes clean off, dropping her into our meat bank at deposit number 8. The group runs outside to try to get on the snowmobiles, but the Killbillies already sabotage them. Lauren decides that since she is the best skier, that she will put on some skis and make her way to town where she can call the police. And despite Daniel's pleas, she leaves anyway. The group heads back inside to set up the fort and protect themselves, and they head into an office close to the entrance. Kyle remembers the room in the basement where they can get some weapons to protect themselves, and he, Daniel, and Sarah head down for the armaments. And when they reach their destination, Three Fingers is right on their tail, so they must play a game of hide and seek to stay alive. Cut back to the other NPCs where One Eye is trying to make his way into the office using an ice auger. But when that goes backwards, One Eye decides that he'll come back later when the girls aren't feeling so stabby. The other group gathers its weapons and then heads back to the office. But when Sarah and Kyle run ahead, Daniel gets nabbed by the Killbillies and set up on their butchering table. Meanwhile, Kyle and Sarah show back up to the office hideout, only to realize that they forgot something. The group, hearing Daniel's cries for help, deliberate whether or not they're going to risk saving him, while the Killbillies get ready to make stew and begin carving into Daniel. The group of NPCs hold a vote to decide what they will do while Daniel loses his best cuts, before finally deciding that they are going to save their friend. It's a little late for that, guys. As the Killbillies extract his liver, he's probably not going to bounce back from that. And Daniel becomes the 9th deposit in our meat bank. The group, having wasted all their time talking, have come up with a plan to force the trio into the C ward and lock them in a cell. They surprise the savages and chase them into a cell, all according to plan. Jenna suggests that they kill them, but Kenya says that they are better than that. Are you better than them? Cause you talking your friends out of killing these guys makes you directly responsible for every death from this point through the rest of the franchise. Well done, Kenya, well done. Kyle takes a lantern and throws the oil in the cell, but can't bring himself to light it. The group decides that they will search for the missing spark plug wires and leave in the morning, and Kyle volunteers to watch over the Killbillies. As the girls spend hours, I assume, looking for the damn spark plug wires, Kyle starts falling asleep on his watch, while the Killbillies find that hairpin from nearly 30 years ago in the toilet. Movie logic, bro! Three Fingers picks the lock, as he is prone to do, and the three of them give Kyle a rude awakening. Elsewhere, Kenya decides that she'll go relieve Kyle, not realizing that he's already been relieved. All the way to hell. That joke sounds familiar, but I don't remember where I used it. If you remember, let me know in the comments below. And on her way to the C ward, the generator runs out of gas, so the lights go out, leaving everyone in cold darkness. Kenya gets to the C ward only to find that the Killbillies have been let out of their cage. Kenya runs back and warns the remaining ladies, just in time for someone to surprise them. The Fabulous Four decide to take on the babbling mystery character because all of a sudden they don't have any qualms about killing them. They chase down and tackle the dude, taking turns turning his back into pulp. Now let's see who this Killbilly really is. The Killbillies were Kyle the entire time! And he would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for these meddling kids and their damn dog. Which makes tongueless Kyle deposit number 10 in our meat bank. By the way, Kenya, your body count starts now. The Killbillies head the group off with an ice auger, forcing them to run elsewhere. They try to run out of the building, but the doors are locked, so they opt to run upstairs. They find an area where the Killbillies sleep, which is bad news. But they also find all their gear, which is good news. After putting on some of their gear, they head into a different wing of the sanatorium and begin looking for ways out. They find one window where the grate is rusted enough for them to pull it away from the window, but they're going to have to dig their way out. Meanwhile, while the girls are trying to break out, the Killbillies are trying to break in, bringing a slight amount of urgency to our fleeing females. Sarah is the first to climb out, and Kenya sends Bridget next, and then herself, leaving Jenna to bring up the rear. But when the snow hole collapses in on her, she backs out of it and right into our meat bank at number 11, when Sawtooth greets her with the ice auger. The 3 remaining girls get out of there as quick as they can, while the Killbillies decide to leave out the front door. But the Killbillies definitely have the advantage since they've got their snowmobiles up and running. And they quickly catch up to the trio and begin harassing them. The Killbillies leave for a short time, and Sarah doubles back to grab the fire poker that she dropped. But the Killbillies return to wreak more havoc and begin assaulting our protagonists. But Sawtooth, realizing that Bridget won't be dragged through the snow without a fight, lets her go, but is promptly clotheslined by the People's Champion.
If you smell what the
Tree
is cooking.
One Eye then parks his snowmobile on Bridget, and I don't know, man, grinds her to death? Well, either way, he deposits her in the meat bank at number 12. Cut to the morning when we catch up to this NPC who froze to death just yards away from the road, adding Lauren as number 13 into our meat freezer. We then cut over to Kenya, who is wandering alone, calling out to Sarah, but it wrong turns out to just be a trap to get One Eye's snowmobile. And the 2 remaining ladies ride off into the sunrise on their newly acquired snowmobile. And the movie, whoa, what? The 2 ladies hit a line of razor wire, decapitating both of them straight into our meat bank at deposits 14 and 15. And the Killbillies pull up and collect their trophies, and the movie ends. So now, to find out, what are your chances of suffering survivor's guilt? This is where we take a look at our main characters and the death that surrounds them to determine what your chances are of surviving this movie. Starting our meat bank deposits with a riot at the sanatorium, we've got Charlie as our first deposit, followed by the main source of the breakout, Dr. McQuaid, at number 2. We've then got these dead orderlies at deposits 3 and 4, and then we have Dr. Ryan pulled apart into deposit number 5. We then get Porter dragged into our bank at number 6, Vincent skewered into number 7, Claire dropping into our 8th deposit, and Daniel served up as number 9. Kyle gets minced into deposit number 10, Jenna gets gouged into deposit number 11, Bridget gets the 12th spot when she gets shredded by the snowmobile tread, and Lauren chills out in our 13th deposit. And we wrap up our deposits with Kenya and Sarah, who glide right into our 14th and 15th deposits. Now, let's take a look at our survivors. We've got Three Finger, Sawtooth, and One Eye, who will go on killing in the name of Kenya, which means that out of a total of 18 characters, only 3 survive, which means that you have a 16.67% chance of surviving this movie. Given those odds, how would these Killbillies keep you from returning in future installments? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future videos. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I seriously appreciate it. And as always, don't die.
Welcome back, video. Welcome back, video. Welcome back, Uncle Living Dead. Welcome back, video creeps. What up, guys?
What up? Welcome to my channel, Video Creep. Make sure you hit subscribe